Hello and thank you for joining me today. Today I wanted to share this altered paintbrush that I created to take part in this amazing hop full of some crazy talented women, and I hope that you enjoy. I started by making all my collage pieces using a bit of amazing cast resin, quick dry resin, sorry, and some Prima IOD molds. I love these molds, I love this resin, I love the way they work together. It's quick, it's easy, it's not clay, but it is easy. Here you can see the process. Next, I started to add some texture using some 3D gloss gel and a stencil. I love to use 3D gloss gel through a stencil because it adds so much texture to your project without adding any color or changing it in any way. It's just straight up texture. Sorry for getting off camera here a bit, but you can see that I'm building the main focal point of my paintbrush. I am using some heavy body gloss gel to build this focal point, and I'm going to add a little bit of chipboard to build it up. I'm building it up because I'm going to tuck the two resin pieces underneath to form my focal point. I'm continuing to add my resin pieces, removing any excess gel as needed using my finger or a paintbrush. Just make sure that you rinse your paintbrush so you don't end up with a stick. I wanted to continue to add a bit of texture, so using the mini art stones and a little bit of gel medium, I just mixed it together and adhered it to the brush. You can see here that my focal point was not completely dry, but that's okay. I just added a little bit of medium and continued with the process. Now here I got a bit out of order and I grabbed my crackle paste instead of my clear gesso. I really should have added the gesso so there would have been something for the crackle paste to bond to on the metal. But either way, it really did turn out fine in the end, and I'm quite happy with the brush. But here you can see that I'm adding a very heavy layer of the white crackle paste to the brush in just random places, just to add a bit more texture. And now I decided to add the clear gesso. And finally, the fun part. It was time to add color. I chose a mix of 3 of Lindsay's sprays, and you can see that they're listed here. I continued to add color, getting a little bit darker and drying in between as needed. I continued to add color using Filmora's metallic paints. I love these colors, they're so rich and so intense in shimmer. They coordinated perfectly with the Lindsay's colors that I worked with, and I chose to use a mix of Filmora's Mermaid Teal, Crocus Fields, and I believe it was Deep Waters. But here you can see I'm just using a fine paintbrush and adding little touches of paint here and there throughout the paintbrush. Nothing too drastic, just a little bit of color, a little bit of shine, and just a little bit of that metallic gorgeousness. Next, I wanted to blend the colors a little bit, so I went ahead and added a couple splatters, just coordinating the colors over top of each other. So here you can see I'm adding the Mermaid Teal with just a tiny bit of water to create some splatters over top the teal part of the paintbrush. And then I'm using Crocus Fields over top the purple part of the paintbrush, and so on and so on. And then I got carried away and just kept splattering. So I decided to add some Liquitex black fluid ink and just added some splatters across the whole paintbrush. I really do love the way that this turned out. And now it was time for my favorite part, to add my wax to my paintbrush. This truly is an addictive process, and I love this wax so much. It just makes everything pop and stand out. My waxes that I used were aged brass, and I wound up using white gold over top of that. I do like to use 2 waxes at a time. I just love the way that that turns out, but you can use more, you can use less, it's really up to you. But here you can see I'm just using my finger and getting it where I want it to go. And then there was a couple places where my finger just wouldn't fit. So I got a brush out and just added that wax in that way. And either way is fine, it's completely up to you. The last thing that I added to my paintbrush was some black glass glitter. I just used a bit of clear glue, a paintbrush, and sprinkled the glitter on. And it added a tremendous amount of sparkle and just that last bit of dazzle. I really do hope that you have enjoyed my paintbrush. I know that you'll love what everybody else creates. And thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you enjoy the hop.